me, Dragon Sonic here, on behalf of UK Ball in the Formula Classic Series, here for the re-commentary of the Season 4 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix. You've just seen your top 10 go by. Arnett Babner starts 11th from UK Ball and Livery here as well. Of course, this isn't my championship, so if I get details wrong, then I apologize. So, BDS Dragon Racing already secured the World Constructors and Drivers title as all 5 lights go on here in Interlagos. Lights out and away we go, and that's a pretty even start from the top 2 drivers as Electro for Lotus Renault Grand Prix takes the inside from the world champion Blade of Dragon Sonic for his own team, and into the lead goes Electro as the safety car already deployed as out of the race has gone Arnett Babner. And the McLaren driver has gone out of the race, but Lotus Renault Grand Prix, in what reportedly is going to be their last race as Lotus Renault, they lead the way from BDS Dragon's, team owner. And you see, this is where my lack of knowledge of the series comes in. And that is third place's Red Bull, I'm going to assume. I believe that is a Red Bull in third. But yes, under safety car conditions after a first lap collision, Arnett Babner does seem to have brought that upon himself. We're on board with Electro, the number 7 German driver, P. Sierra, and Ferrari. He's the man in third. At his home race, no less, for Red Bull Racing. We go into the second lap of 17 then. And that is Electro leading the way from Blade of Dragon Sonic and Ferrari. Then it's Sierra, Pepsi for your top 5. The world champion's teammate, Crumply, down in 9th place as he goes on to move to Lotus Renault Grand Prix, or whatever they shall be known as next season, as UK Ball comes over from McLaren. God, it's very hard to try and commentate something that you have little knowledge of. But yeah, the lap times around here do seem to be pretty short, so this safety car should be coming in a matter of minutes. And honestly, you should not subscribe to me if you're watching this video. I'll have UK Ball's original commentary of his race in the description, and he will be tagged in the title of the video, so you can just go and subscribe to him as the 2013 season comes in. I did make that intro for him, so you better go and subscribe, or else my hard work will have been for nothing. Red Bull, 3rd and 4th. Something tells me they're going to have to swap the drivers around because Ferrari's on the medium tyres. Sierra is on the softs. So, logically, they should swap the drivers around. We go currently on board with Ferrari, BMWs, and not QE. But there is also a regular Ferrari team. And maybe that's Scuderia Italia. Lap cars may now overtake the safety car, but it's only lap 3. If we have any lap cars, then it's Nikita Mazepin. I gotta say though, as the guy who made all of the Dragon Racing liveries, that livery is pretty mid. It's not the greatest one. The 2013 livery is going to be better. Speaking of livery, he's currently in 12th place behind Mercedes' UK Ball. That's a very glossy Mercedes as well. But we look back to the race leader in the number 7. Same number as Kimi Räikkönen. Hopefully he can pull off a miracle here like he did back in 2007. Zane, the other Force India driver, sponsored by BWT, and to be honest, that livery is kind of gopping. The pink that was chosen there is not great. It should have been a lighter pink. Then you've got El Pepsi, who is in 5th, the other Lotus Renault driver. Then Fernandez Sarjikek, I'm pronouncing that wrong and I don't care. Zaid and Anakile. Some of these guys are also in the BDS F1 championship as well. So that's why I can remember some of them, but not all of them. There is a bit of overlap between the two championships. But now, as I come through the final turns, I believe this is Decina del Lago. I'll get out my book so that I know what all the turns are. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap. So that'll be Electro, who will get us back going again. I have to turn it like this. And we go racing again in Interlagos, coming down into the center S's with B-Dragon Sonic and Electro leading the way. And that has seemed to be a pretty clean getaway again. Livery on the outside of Hamid Awawi. He's dropped down to 14th there, getting passed by both Force Indias. It's coming into Decina del Lago, turned by the lake, and Zane gets past his teammate Livery. So Zane up into 12th place, the man in the number 21, the Malaysian. Zygmunt down in 19th place, though. Bit unfortunate for him. He has started on the hard tyre, so he will go a very long way. Zaid, however, sends it on the inside of his teammate. BMW do not seem to be having quite the good race here today. As I take a look at what that turn is called, that is Subditas de Boxes. It's a pretty funny name. Electro, now PCI sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:03.750. That's 5/10 faster than what Electro had set earlier. The Red Bull driver, he's gone past his teammate as well. Forgot to mention that. He's up in 3rd currently. Electro sets the fastest first sector of anyone. The Red Bull does seem to be trying to gain on that Dragon, but that Lotus of Electro, he does seem to be just managing the pace right now. He's keeping a consistent gap around 5/10 of a second. I say that, and then BDS just closes in for his own team. Zane with a track limits warning. Hopefully that's not anything too disappointing for Force India. Unlike their livery. I'm going to keep mentioning that because it is awful. So on to lap 6, we go, and B-Dragon Sonic, fastest lap of the race, 4/10 quicker, and he used that 4/10 to slingshot by the final turn. And up into the lead he goes, coming through the center S's, but as they head down to Decina del Lago, Electro, he's got the DRS on that Black Dragon car ahead now. The original livery of which was based on a Beyblade, of all things. Ferrari's Skaznek, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. The Polish man in the number 15, he set a fastest first sector of anybody as he chases down Crumply and his teammates for 6th place. Crumply gets a bit wide coming through there, but he's got the inside line again. The other Ferrari, Fernandez, it gets a little bit squirrely coming through there. As I go on to lap 7, coming Shishkita, the boxes. I'm not pronouncing that right, but who cares? A lot of people care, I'm sorry. DRS down the straight, going into the center S's for Crumply. Tries to look at the outside line, not quite there. I actually don't know what the sound that's going to be. I hope it's going to be good though. And he's still got DRS going into Decina del Lago, but he's just not close enough to make a move. The number 2, the Hungarian, sadly showing why he is currently the number 2 driver there. Having while we are looking at Gringovolov, as in down the inside goes MP4. Gringovolov just got his ankles broken by the McLaren. That's a customer team getting past the Mercedes. Oh boy, that would be embarrassing to see today in real life now, wouldn't it? I am crying from the inside. As we look at El Pepsi, superior tyres, seemingly a bit of a faster car than the Red Bull of Ferrari ahead. Down the inside goes the 99, and up into fourth goes Lotus Renault's El Pepsi. He's also been able to get DRS after that. Ferrari also has DRS, or were we looking with Sierra? Because either way, the top three, even though the world champion has been able to take the lead there, that gap is not closed at all. There is no closing of any gaps out in front. So that fight for the lead is still there, even with 9 laps to go. There's another green team, apparently. I can't see who that other green team is, but we are not currently focusing on them. So, as far as the race is considered, not all that important. So as we go on to start lap number 9 of the 17-lap race here in Brazil, Blade Dragon Sonic leads the way from Electro and Sierra. Then it's El Pepsi, Ferrari. Sorry, there are 2 Ferraris here. Then Crumply, who's managed to get past both Ferraris of Fernandez and. I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try pronouncing it. I'm very sorry. The number 15 from Poland. Then it's UK Ball and MP4 closing out the top 10. Then Grigovic. I'm getting these names wrong because I don't commentate at all on the series, so this might have been a mistake. The 2 Force India swapping positions. The race leaders swapping positions. Side by side goes Blade Dragon Sonic and Electro. And slamming the door. That's the Nigerian. Very close. You said ending the race there if they had gotten any closer, in fact. But luckily for the 2 of them, they continue to race onto lap 10 of 17. 7 to go in Brazil. Of course. Anyway, that front nose from that point of view is the only good part of the Dragon livery. You look behind and it's not very appealing. Italia Racing, currently in 16th and 19th. Zygmunt down in 19th, and I understand that he is on the hard tyres. His teammate Paul's come into the pits though. I'm not too sure why he's come in. Alonso is also in the pits with him, so that could be a sign that his tyres are beginning to drop off around the outside. Tried to go Electro, but now he's got Sierra nearer to him. 5/10 difference between the man in second and third place. And El Pepsi is now looking as if he might have a chance at getting into this fight for second place. As into the pits comes Bladed Dragon Sonic, the first of the top guys to come into the pits, and that should be for mediums. El Pepsi is also in. So, theoretically, all the other drivers out in front will have another lap. Ferrari, sorry. This is what happens when you hire a guy called Ferrari to drive for Red Bull. You get confused. Ferrari, however, started on the medium, so he's going to be able to go quite a bit longer. I predict that he'll be able to go up until lap 13. He'll be one of the only top guys on the soft tyres, so he'll be able to go faster. MP4 fighting with Grigorov over that 8th position now. McLaren versus Mercedes, a customer team leading the factory team currently. That would be embarrassing to happen in real life. But down the inside does go Grigorov to get back up into 8th place. Once again, that would be embarrassing to have happen in real life. P. Sierra has come into the pits on lap 12 of 17, but Electra has gone for another lap. That is kind of worrying, because as UK Ball comes in, wait, is that the livery I made? Mine? Okay, good, that's not my Mercedes livery. If it was, I'd be surprised. Mercedes not actually powered by Petronas Syntium. I do believe they are still allowed to use. I do believe they and Dragon Racing both use Petronas' oil and fuel to power their car, but it is no longer the partnership that Mercedes had. As more drivers have come into the pits, it's that 6th place. Zaid comes in, and oh my goodness, that's a 9-second gap between Electra and Blade Dragon Sonic. That gap might just continue to increase, and if it does, then Electro, as he comes in, he's not going to just drop down into it's like 3rd place. He's going to drop down further, and behind B Dragon Sonic, who's just gone past Mercedes of Gogorov, Crumply's coming as well. So Ferrari leads the way from B Dragon Sonic. Electro, let's see where he comes out, because it's not going to be 3rd. I don't even think it's going to be 4th. He's come out in 5th. 5th place for the Lotus driver. And that is absolutely disappointing for him. 4 laps, however, remain in this race. Could Ferrari, the man who leads the way for Red Bull Racing, could he actually finish the race without coming in? I know for a fact that Zygmunt doesn't have to come in, but honestly, he might as well cut his losses short. He's not currently scoring any points for Scuderia Italia, so it might just be smarter to just not do it. And honestly, Scuderia Italia Racing Team, IRT, I do not like their livery. Into the pits, however, does come Ferrari. So B Dragon Sonic will lead the way again here with 3 to go, 3 to the checkered. El Pepsi, however, the closest guy to him. That's 2 seconds, the difference between the two race leaders. But 2 seconds is 2 seconds too many to close up within 3 laps when you're basically in equal cars. The development of those two teams have been basically linear. But now, with how it's going here, we're not seeing the difference between the Lotus Renault car and the BDS Dragon car. We are seeing the difference between the drivers. And in all honesty, Al Pepsi's a good driver. But from what we're seeing here, he's letting the gap grow. I do not believe him to be a championship caliber driver. Of course, I don't know how the rest of the season's played out. I don't know how his next season's going to play out. So we go on to lap 15. No, this is not the kind of performance that you'd want your driver to do. Although at the same time, he is holding down 2nd place, which for Lotus is definitely what they need. Felica, currently in 13th. I do believe he's a Williams driver. He should be, at least. Yeah, this is an issue with my commentary style. Crumply, the number 2 driver, driving with Valtteri Bottas' helmet, trying to close in on the Red Bull of Ferrari in his last race for BDS Dragon Racing before he moves over to whatever Lotus will be called. I'm going to check the server to see if the name has already been confirmed yet. But we are now going to go on to the penultimate lap of this Brazilian Grand Prix. I'm going to have to get the word Grand Prix out of my head for a few minutes after this, so that'll be interesting. Oh my goodness, just taking a look at the constructors' standings, and my god, over 100 points. So they did win. They did get it. So we look at Zygmunt, the man currently in last place. Behind him, I do believe, is the race leader, trying to take a look at the minimap. But of course, this has been how I actually got this is I screen recorded UK Ball's original race without the original audio. And either way, that is B-Dragon Sonic paying a lap on Scuderia Italia's his driver on what has been quite an abysmal season for them. But we now go into the last lap. Blade Dragon Sonic leads the way from El Pepsi and PCR. That'll be your top three, unless looking at that top four to see if any moves could happen. I do not see any happening because there is a 2-second gap between all the drivers there. So in other words, the closest to a move that we will get is if a puncture happens. And that is somewhat unlikely in my opinion. As we see, UK Ball rise is up through the final sector of this race. Blade Dragon Sonic and El Pepsi. Those will be your top two. As he comes up to that final part of the track, we see JD Venter for Toro Rosso pole for his own team in. I forgot. Blade Dragon Sonic will come home as a 3-time champion in Formula Classic and will set the fastest lap of the race as it's begun to rain. PCR will reset, then Electra will set a 102.6066. And that should be the fastest lap as we see all the drivers come across the line, and someone's gone off there after crossing the line. And I believe that was Crumply. As we've already seen the Ferrari of... Sorry, I forgot it again. Take that final 10th place, 3 seconds ahead of MP4. Now, look to the Force Indias of Zane and Livery, who are coming towards the line. Dry tyres on wet track, as well as Salik and Mohamed Awawi, JD Venter, and Paul, making up the rest of your finishes. And here's your podium then. The world champion Bladed Dragon Sonic, the Nigerian number 13 for BDS Dragon Racing, comes home with that race win here in Brazil from El Pepsi for Lotus Renault Grand Prix and P. Sierra for Red Bull Racing. Now here is where the national anthem would be played, but I ain't got time for that. And here's your final classification then. Bloody Dragon Sonic from El Pepsi and PCR. Then it's El Electro, Ferrari, Crumply, Fernandez, Ukable, Grigorgov, Shaznek, MP4, Zane, Livery, Falika, Mohamed Awawi, JD Venter, Paul, Fernando Alonso, and the rest of the drivers. Here is the final drivers and constructors standings. And subscribe to UK Ball so you can see the 2013 season.